Hi guys, welcome to Freedom Podcast, and today we are here with Evan Luthra. How are you today?
Thank you, Manu. Thank you for having me. It's a great day. Very happy to be here. Happy to help you out with this interview, and hopefully, thank you for giving us your time, guys. Hopefully, we can, by the end of this, you get some more value, you get to have some advice, and hopefully, it makes you a better day and a better person.
That's a good point. We met 1 year ago here in Tulum, and we have been in contact for some months now, and it's always a pleasure to speak to you and have you in person. And when did you get into crypto? Because you are really like one of the most important crypto influencers, in my opinion. So I want to know, like, how did your journey start?
So I was already in technology before crypto, right? I got involved in the technology space pretty early on. I was the first 100 guys to build apps for the iPhone. Did this when I was 13. Sold my first company at 17, built about 30 apps along the process. But while I was doing this, I was deep in the tech space, and I was living in San Francisco in 2014 for 6 months, and I came across Coinbase. And Coinbase had announced, this was 2014, so
Okay.
Coinbase had announced that they're giving out $5 in free Bitcoin to refer people. So the first person you refer gets $5, and you get $5 in Bitcoin. So I had already had a little bit of success through my apps. So I had gained a few 100,000 followers. I'd given TED Talks, spoken at universities, United Nations, and more. So I decided, okay, I decided to refer my audience to Bitcoin to get each of this $5. And today, the exciting fact is, each of those $5 in Bitcoin is worth $500 because how much Bitcoin has grown. So it's grown tremendously. So that's how I first came to know about Bitcoin. I got first involved in it. But after doing that referral, I didn't really get involved in the space. I still went back to what I understood, which was centralized apps and centralized institutions, and I was building technology around that. But in 2016, 2017, my own company started coming up to me and said, hey, can you tell us about blockchain? How can we implement blockchain in our solutions? So that's when I started to get more deeply involved in the space. I invested early in some companies in tier one alternative blockchains. Like I was an early investor in the seed round of Hedera Hashgraph, right? That did really well from a 10 million seed investment, 10 million valuation to now in the billions.
Wow.
So I did a few investments in 2017, about 2025, and then in 2020, all these investments started to pay off really well. Like a lot of these investments went to over 100x, and I was like, wow, this space is really amazing. Even though I had over 100 equity investments in the tech space before I got deeply involved in crypto, none of them had really come to fruition because it's a 10-year timeline, you know. Equity is very illiquid. So when I realized these tokens and these crypto blockchain opportunities are way better and they actually create a far bigger impact, that's when I decided, hey, let me get fully involved. So 2020, I'd already made a certain amount of success from my early investments. I was like, I'm going to go fully on this. So I started doing a lot. I traveled to 25 countries, speaking at over 100 events in person live about blockchain, about crypto. Write for Cointelegraph, Forbes, came across a lot of opportunities.
Wow.
Ended up investing in 250 companies just in 2021 in the blockchain space. I wrote early about the play-to-earn revolution. I wrote early about the metaverses before this whole trend started growing. So yeah, just the last couple of years has been very heavily investing, and I advised about 24 companies last year that from pre-listing to listing, delivering 50 to 100x return for the early seed investors.
These are unbelievable numbers, no? If you compare that to other financial markets, this kind of returns, it's something usually doesn't exist. So how is it possible that crypto has this big potential of growth so fast?
So I think it comes down to a few things about the network effect. So crypto has a very high network effect. So if somebody uses it, every person who adds onto the network who uses it makes the network stronger and more decentralized. Then it brings on more people. So I think that gives us the massive exponential growth that we see crypto gets. But end of the day, there's no business that comes close. And I've tried all kinds of businesses. You know, I've been in 20 industries. I have had dozen coffee shops in New Delhi, India. I have fashion, I've done vodka companies, I have cannabis companies, all kinds of stuff which is non-crypto, and nothing even comes close because here your impact anyway. So you got to remember one thing about technology, right? Technology as a space is already far more high growth than most other industries, because most industries grow linearly, grow 20-30% a year, right? They grow in a linear graph. Technology grows exponentially. It hits this J curve, and once you get that adoption, it just shoots up.
Yes.
So that's with any technology companies, and we saw that with the internet, we saw that with the smartphone, we saw that with any technological innovation. But with crypto, this J curve grows at a very high pace. It grows at a very high pace, and that's also because it has such a high impact. You know, it like changes lives in ways never thought before possible. You know, banking the unbanked, right? Financial inclusion. I mean, finance drives the world. So this is a new way of finance, a new way of giving financial benefits to the people, and it's a new. I think Bitcoin is going to be the new monetary standard, right? I think it's the future against the dollar. So I think the dollar's reign is coming to an end, as we're already seeing it. Just today, I heard about the news. Honduras, their president announced. This is still confidential, but it's going to come out next week. That the president is announced that Bitcoin is legal tender. This is the second country, a year after El Salvador, where Bitcoin has become a legal tender, right? So I think we're already moving towards that. We're seeing these countries, which are basically economically very poor, have nothing to lose, and they're realizing that this is the only way to salvation, right?
Yes. Yeah, I recently was in El Salvador around 1 month ago, and I was really surprised on how safe the country was, how beautiful the country was, and how friendly the people are. And so I'm really hoping that for them it can be a good solution if this is something that attracts more wealth. I mean, it's already attracting more tourism there, because I would have never gone there probably if it wasn't there.
Same me.
And it's 1.5 hours flight from here, from Tulum, where we are right now. There is no mask obligation to entrance, no PCR, nothing. So it's perfect.
I think the country is definitely gaining a lot from being tourism, 100%. I've been to 60 countries, and I'm not going to El Salvador if it's not for Bitcoin. It's a nice country, don't get me wrong, but I prefer the beaches here than the beach in the black sand beach in El Salvador. But yeah, because of crypto, I went to get the experience, you know. And in these 3 days, it was mind blowing. I go to the airport, I paid my visa fee with Bitcoin. Yeah. I went to the hotel, I paid it with Bitcoin. Everything is acceptable as Bitcoin. So I think that's a really solid opportunity that the country has. And I think that other countries are seeing this. I mean, but the real value is that the money, because right now the US dollar runs in the systems, but they don't have any control on that, so right? And they're under the influence of the US. So it's like the US Federal Reserve manipulates the monetary policy to benefit them. With Bitcoin, it's decentralized. Nobody can manipulate it, right? So it's the community has to come together as a whole. So that's how it grows. The real exciting thing about Bitcoin to me is not even about the Bitcoin. It's about the idea of decentralization and distribution. It's the idea of giving power back to the people. Yeah. You know, that's what really excites me. There's a way to distribute governance, distribute authority, distribute. So when you distribute governance, you share the influence, right? So I think that's the most exciting part about Bitcoin and blockchain, is that it gives power back to the people. And that's what really excites me. And I think that's what we're going to see in businesses too in the future. That's what we're going to see how it goes. Like, if you think about it, normally in a business, there's 3 stakeholders involved. It's the users of the business, the manager of the business, and the owners of the business. Right now, everybody wants a different thing. But with tokenization and decentralizing governance and making the user a part manager and a part owner, you align incentives that allows for maximum growth and exponential growth. You can do that by, for example, like let's say right now Audi and BMW make cars, Ferrari makes cars. So let's say somebody asks, what's the best car to buy? You and I would say maybe buy a Rolls Royce, buy a Lamborghini, right? What everybody else would commonly say. But then tomorrow Audi and BMW make their own coins, and you buy a bunch of Audi coins and I buy a bunch of BMW coins. So then you ask us, what's the best car to buy? You're going to say buy an Audi because you get part revenue by holding the coins. Yeah. I say buy a BMW because I'm a part owner. Maybe I don't even have any BMWs, but I will still support them because that's how they would feel. Yes. So that's I think is the next step, is where you make the user a part owner and you align incentives. And the step after this is we make the user a part manager. So let's say Audi makes $10 billion and they ask you, where should we invest that? You say, should we invest in making a new bicycle, or should we invest in making a new yacht?
Motorbike.
A motorbike. Maybe you say make a new motorbike. Maybe I say make a new yacht. You know, it depends what everybody wants. But you become a part. At least you get to have some governance.
And how long do you think will this take time? In how many years can we see like a big implementation of that?
So I always say the best way to predict the future is to go build it. So it's very hard to say how we see the impact. But we're already seeing adoption. We're already seeing Bitcoin becoming a legal tender in places like El Salvador, Honduras. These are 2 countries not as influential, but they still make up part of the world. So that means every person there, legally speaking, has to accept Bitcoin and learn how to use a crypto wallet. Eventually your NFTs, your identity, everything becomes digital. So as everything goes to with crypto, what's really happening is that, so if you have to understand, you have to step back. Most of our attention used to be in the physical world, right? Then came TVs, our attention moved from the physical to the digital a little bit. Then came smartphones, moved more, computers. So now we are, half the time our attention goes to the digital world. That's where our attention is going, that's where our energy is flowing, right? Yes. And what this has led to, our jobs, they've become digital, right? From factories to Zoom calls. Our identities are digital. I mean, our Instagram stories are like a personal billboard these days. Our friends, how we make, how are all digital. I mean, you may meet, where do you meet like-minded people? You meet them on Tinder, on Reddit. I mean, our friends, our relationships, everything is becoming digital, right? So even entertainment, more kids play Fortnite than basketball and football combined. So entertainment, friends, everything is doing digital work. With crypto, your assets are also digital. This is paper money. This is the old generation money. This is digital. It's in my phone. I can have it in my brain. I can go anywhere. That's one of the other benefits of Bitcoin. It's you can carry it easily. It's digital cash, which was not possible before. Sweden is a country that's fully run digitally. So this is what we see now happening, and it's only a matter of, this is not a gradual change, right? This is a change that's been happening for 20 years. 20 years we've been seeing this progress. So now as we're moving to a very digital...
From 2001.
Exactly.
Towers, no?
Even before 2001, like even before we had seen, like there was a lot of digital influence coming in, but now you're seeing growth exponential. Yeah. And that's what the most exciting part about it is that sooner what's going to happen is we're going to have a screen. I was using and building apps with a Google Glass in very early on, almost a decade ago. So it was right here in front of your screen always. What's going to happen now is going to be very common. Everybody would have glasses and there's a screen in front of your eyes. And based on that, you can always be on a digital world. I'm looking at you when I'm watching Netflix. So, you know, it's like, that's what's going to happen.
That's crazy, no?
So, with a life like this, man, it's only a matter of time. Like, countries are, there's a lot of things happening globally at the same time that's leading to this movement. Like, countries becoming where they're accepting Bitcoin as a legal tender. Everybody's forced to use digital money.
Yes.
Then there's people building tools that make you live in a metaverse. Facebook changed its name to Meta because they make money with your attention. They make money when they get your attention from the Instagram. They have some of the most used apps in the world: Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook, etc. So now your attention is going to the metaverse. Metaverse is the moment in time when your attention and your digital life matters to you more than your physical life, right? That's what I believe is the concept of metaverse, and I think it's already happening. So it's a very exciting space, and I think you're going to see rapid change in the next couple or so years itself, where you will see people getting more and more deeply involved in the space.
Yes, yes. So, if you're living this life, this crypto life, what about your personal lifestyle? I mean, do you fly private all the time? Do you live in 5-star hotels, 7-star hotels? Like, how is your daily life if you're in Tulum?
So, I mean, Tulum, I love this place now. I have a house here, so I just bought this beautiful beach house. I love it, you know, like, I would like to come in quite a bit. So Tulum is really beautiful because it offers you the ability to connect with nature, right? I really appreciate that. I'm somebody who's online a lot of the time anyways, because I am doing all my business online, right? Yeah. So then it makes, but this, to be able to enjoy here on the beach, it's just a beautiful way. But I mean, private jets, I flew hundreds of private jets in 2017, 2018. Wow. So I got over the phase. Now I think it's a waste to the environment just to use a whole jet just for one person. So I generally fly commercial first class. So I generally don't use private jets as much unless it's a group. Then it makes sense.
Of course.
But I already had you go through this phase in life. I'm not somebody who needs to fly private. I don't have to be in one place at one time. I'm very flexible. I appreciate my freedom a lot. So being able to do what I want, wake up when I want, not having to have confirmed responsibilities is what I really appreciate the most. This freedom. Like having this lifestyle is freedom is the number one priority. I mean, I work a lot because I like it. I only do things I really like, and I think it's very important to be really successful at something. You have to be passionate about it. So I only work on things I'm very passionate, and if I don't like something, I stop doing it. But at the same time, I don't take full-time responsibility. I always only join myself as an advisor, an official role. Even though I have a lot of influence in the companies, I'm making the seed round investments and the second biggest shareholder after the CEO. I still don't give any full-time responsibilities anywhere. But I work like the CEO. I work 24/7. I'm available to most of my partners all day. I don't turn off in a way. It's also because I enjoy it. If I wanted to, I could do it tomorrow. It's not something by choice.
Would you go to something like Burning Man, for example, 1 week, 10 days without internet?
Yeah, why not? Why not? I mean, I've had incidents where I haven't used the phone for 2 days. I haven't done it 10 days in a row. Yeah. But I mean, I can definitely do it. I don't think it's going to be a struggle. So yeah.
Maybe this year is the year to do it.
This year, maybe Burning Man falls on the same days where I have a certain responsibility to my family. Okay. So normally that's the reason I have not gone to Burning Man yet, because it clashes with this event. But sooner or later I'll make it there.
Yeah, maybe they move the days. Every year it's a different date, more or less, right?
I think it's the same date for
Okay,
Burning
okay.
Man. Yeah.
But I was there once, and for sure this year I would like to go again. So let's see if we can make it work. You were talking about freedom, and you know this is the Freedom Podcast, so this is my main topic. Is like, how do you define freedom? I know it's not about working, it's not about or not about having all the responsibility. Like, but the real freedom what is it for you? If I would have to ask you.
So real freedom for me is it's you know it's like this is the freedom, like being able to do what you want, when you want, how you want, and not having to be answerable to people. You know, not having to answer the phone if you don't want to. You know, not having to look at the phone if you don't want to. Not able to having to be somewhere based on somebody else's requirement. That is what is my number one priority. So basically doing what you want, you know, enjoying your life to the best, you know, also having a goal and purpose, so you work towards that goal, towards this long-term end goal, like the goals you want to achieve, but also, you know, enjoying every day as it comes, you know. Being able to do that is truly, it's a very blessing. I understand that too. I'm very grateful for that. And thank God for giving me this benefit. But end of the day, that's the freedom that matters to me the most. To be able to have that freedom, yeah.
Okay, and talking about the abundance, yeah. What is abundance for you? Because I feel you're a very abundant man, and a man also, you say you have a purpose, and I want to hear more about that. Is like, what is abundance for you? Represent.
I mean, so it's the abundance mindset, right? I mean, I know a lot of people with a lot of money, but they're very stingy about spending it, right? I don't believe it. I believe wealth is meant to be shared. I think if you have the blessing and if you have the opportunity to get access to more wealth, you're going to give it back, right? I had a lot of people supporting me early on. I think abundance is about knowing, and it also doesn't even come from having a lot. You could have very little, but you could have the abundance mindset where you always know that you're going to be fine. There's always so much that you're never going to have to worry, right? That mindset can, even if you don't have a lot to offer, you can still have that. I've met a lot of people with very little to their name, but they have the abundance mindset. When you go out with them, you feel that. You feel that very difference that, hey, this guy cares about the rest. He cares about others, you know, and he wants to share. And I think the more you give, the more you get back, anyways. So the way the world works, I think it's the magic is that the more you give, the more you get. So I think it comes down to that also. I think mindset is very, very, very important. It makes a very big difference. Mindset is the key to success. If you have the right mindset, you can achieve anything you want. And abundance mindset plays a big role in that.
Okay. And do you think there's special practices to practice it to become more abundant in your mindset, even if maybe you have little?
I think it just comes to thinking, right? That's what it is. Like if you think you have a little, you have a little. If you think you have a lot, you will attract a lot. You will manifest it, right? Manifestation is a big deal.
So you have to detach the physical world from, let's say, the universal world.
Exactly.
So even if you are poor in that moment, relatively, because some people have a lot, they think still they're poor, and what you think, what you tell yourself. So you have to trick it somehow.
Exactly. It's like maybe you have just one sandwich to your name. That's all you have, right? But if somebody comes along who has not even that, and he asks you and you give him half, that's abundance mindset. There's guys who could buy a sandwich factory, and you go and ask them, they're like, we're not interested, right? So the difference is that's the difference. But the guy who has the one who has the abundance mindset is probably also a lot more happier in his life, and he's probably, to some extent, relatively speaking, happiness is different for other people. But the guy that went in the factory maybe was far more stressed that he can't think about helping out one person, right? So I think there's a lot of factors that play into it. But I think, so having that kind of mindset where you want to help others and you want to go in with a focus to add value to others is what actually makes the biggest difference. And I think success and money is a byproduct of creating value for others. So the more value you create for others, the more value you get back for yourself.
And what do you define as value? Is it the more you help other people making money, or the more you inspire them to make money, or the more you actually create opportunities? What is your way of doing that?
It's very different ways, right? So it's like value is like, if in many simple ways, example, somebody comes to me and says, I will wait for you to make $1 million. I would like, okay, how? I said, normally I wouldn't be interested. And okay, if you have a way, I will give you back $900,000. If you make me $1 million, I will give you $900,000 back, because without you, I was not going to make that $1 million. So that's basically, you just made $900,000 because you have a way to make me $1 million.
Okay.
So that's one very direct way of adding value to others.
Okay.
A lot of people in the world who work for people, I've seen this in different industries, you know, they try to see, their mindset is like, how can I make $10 even if I make my boss lose 100? That's the wrong mindset. That's not the value add mindset. The thing is, how can I make my boss 100 so he gives me a 90?
Yes.
That's the mindset difference. And then there's a second way is like, if you think about it, like if you just have, so I believe the best way of doing philanthropy is philanthropy through opportunity.
Okay.
So example, funding or supporting business. I fund and support a lot of businesses which are in tier 2, tier 3 countries, developing countries, which need that. So because basically you can feed a man for a day, and you give him a fish and you feed him for a day, or you teach him how to fish and you feed him for life.
Exactly.
If you apply that concept through entrepreneurship, and you instead of just giving money and being philanthropists, why don't you give them through opportunity, where you create opportunities for others? So you create a business that creates jobs in a society or a community that was struggling to get by, and those jobs then create more jobs. These people help more people, and you uplift a whole community. You make them independent. Philanthropy through opportunity. So creating these jobs and creating this, helping grow the economy and helping grow communities is what is really important too. So that's a very different way, but also a very big way. I believe adding value to others also helps a lot.
And is that your purpose that you were talking about? So is this your purpose that you want?
Yeah, that's what I was getting into. So philanthropy through opportunity is what I also want to work on. I'm an investor. My family does a lot of charity already, right? My mom donates a lot. That's for her like full-time job almost. So she's very religious, very spiritual, and she believes it's in our culture to give back. So whatever you make, you have to take a part side and give back. But I believe it's more important to create philanthropy through opportunity, where instead of just giving some people money, I would rather give them money, but give them also guidance that, hey, you can use this money to build this business, which will employ 10 people, which will grow and which will employ 100, which will grow and employ 1,000.
Yeah.
You just uplifted a community.
It's a chain.
It's a chain.
Like
it's an impact.
a domino effect.
And that's what I get paid to as an entrepreneur too, to look into companies and see where they're going to be in 10 years. So that's I think that makes a big difference too.
Okay, that's a good point for sure. Can I ask you a few personal questions?
Yeah.
And if you don't want to answer, of course you don't have to. Which was the happiest moment in your life that you remember? Like if you have this image in front of you.
Oof, right away I just know the answer, but this is probably not the best to talk about it. This was a really great moment in Thailand. I had some of the best time of my life, but I probably don't want to go into the details.
That's also legit. And I have to ask also the other side of the question. When was the saddest moment in your life, or where you were most down?
So obviously, the most biggest regret. I mean, the biggest regret I had was that I lost my younger brother to cancer, and even though having all this to myself, there was no way to save him because there was no cure for this, right? And this happened a few years ago, and so losing my younger brother made me definitely the saddest moment in my life. But I came to realize that I'm very grateful for the time I had with him. I had 23 wonderful years with him, and I could have also not had these. I could have been a single child. So from a personal perspective, I see that I'm very grateful for the time I had, and I came to realize, and I think that's great, but this was the saddest moment, is to lose my younger brother and being powerless to be able to help him. Yeah.
And do you think that these kind of very, very dark and very difficult moments, they can help us in life understand things and do things differently?
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely a big mindset change also for me, right? It was definitely a big mindset shift, because it made me realize that you don't know what happens tomorrow. He was very fine. And then suddenly 6 months before, he suddenly was discovered he has a very rare form of cancer. It was so rare that was never discovered but maybe 6 months before, and he just found out there's no cure. He looked at multiple countries all over the world and couldn't find any solution. So that tells you that you don't control life. You don't control that. You don't control what happens to you. The only things you control in life are your reaction to things. You can never control what happens to you. Only your reactions. So basically, and you don't know what happens tomorrow. So if you learn from these different lessons, you come to realize that, hey, you're going to live your best life every day. And that's why I try to celebrate my life every single day, and that's why I say happy birthday every day, to make sure that you live and you work with a goal that you're going to live forever. So you work to create that legacy, you're going to be there forever. But you live that you're going to die tomorrow. So you enjoy that this is your last day, so what will you want to do? So you wake up and you think, this is my last day, but I want to be spending my day doing these things. So that's the kind of a mindset shift that happened. Before, I was working a lot more. Okay. I was fully, I was growing a lot, but I was like, what's the point after running after these things, right? It's like I don't want to be part of the rat race. So it's like I'd rather also add value where I can, and I know I can add a lot of value because of my experience and expertise and what I've learned from my travels and experience and businesses. But at the same time, I want to also make sure that I'm enjoying. So only take on the responsibility of what I can do, like remotely, or at least not having to go to a 9 to 5 and stuff like that.
Yeah. And talking about the remotely, a term comes into my mind that I've been using lately a lot, because I think it just represents very well this lifestyle, is the barefoot luxury. So you changed your lifestyle, was less barefoot luxury, and now it's more this kind of luxury, right?
I definitely like that more for sure, because I like to be chilled, relaxed, laid back. I like to think, I'm a strategy guy. My advice to I'm an advisor in most companies because I guide them what's the best strategy. And for that, it's better to chill on the beach and come up with ideas. I'm not the one writing code anymore, right? So I'm not the one designing the strategy plan. I'm not the one making the content. I'm not doing any of the grunt work. I'm always, so this is better this way. So my advice is my thinking is better. I can think more, because you can really think about when your basic needs are covered.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate thing about society is most people are running after basic needs, but they're not able to think and not able to grow, right? So you have to have that covered, and you have to be open, and then you can think of the big ideas.
Yeah.
And I'm a big believer in big ideas. So that's what makes me choose this lifestyle a lot more, definitely. And I think it's very important. Like, everybody's to their own. Some people like the city life. I don't. So I prefer the beach life. And yeah, it's a great feeling to be, walk barefoot on the sand, on the grass, and can't complain.
I love it too. I love it so much too. And I don't want to change it for any city. People invite me to New York and whatever, Dubai and everything, and I'm always like thinking, no, I need to be barefoot, or sandals, or I just, buildings, they make me, I don't like them so much. So I want to be
Me too.
nature.
I like the natural creation. Like Dubai, a lot of people love Dubai. I don't like it because it's like all fake beaches, fake trees, fake sand, fake buildings. Like I prefer the natural beauty that God gave us, right? And I learned to appreciate this. So, but everybody to their own. Some people like
where we are.
I know. There's blue colors, there's natural colors. No metaverse, no simulation, no man-made creation can beat this.
Yes.
But yeah, if some people like the Burj Khalifa as a view, go for it. I have nowhere to stop you,
Exactly. We are here we are more on the Caribbean side of life.
Yeah, exactly.
And
yeah.
And what are things you're looking for in the next couple of months?
So for me, right now the goal is to push the crypto and Bitcoin movement forward. So I'm traveling a lot. I'm giving speeches.
Like an advocate.
Like an advocate, and I call myself a crypto diplomat. I wanna play diplomacy in crypto. So I wanna get it accepted more. So that's the idea. So I'm traveling the world giving speeches. I'm speaking a lot of conferences about crypto, about blockchain, educating the masses who don't know, getting more people involved. And then also I'm investing and advising in companies all the time, I comment on the market, I share stuff, and then mostly just get involved. And I like doing this. I like doing this a lot. I enjoy this. So pushing this movement forward is something I really enjoy. But I'm also investing a lot, and I'm also advising companies, helping them start up. So yeah, last year was 250 investments. This year probably going to be more. So it's actually growing at a bigger pace. There's more opportunities. And the best thing about crypto is you work with the smartest people in the space.
Yeah, it's
I love that. It's always the smartest people you get to work with, and that's what excites me the most. So meeting and talking to all these cool people with great ideas and how they're executing and what they've done in the past is a great way. So that's what keeps my focus for now.
Thank you. Last question. If you could give an advice to a younger yourself about life, about enjoyment, about death, what would it be?
So I can end this by giving few of my we talked a lot about enjoyment in life, so I think if people heard that, I want to repeat that. But I give you like 3 of my biggest tricks to success, you can say, that you can learn in life to grow. One would be have a big idea. I can say like Evan. So you remember Evan? So E stands for enthusiasm, right? Be passionate, love what you do, and you will always have success in the space. If you don't like something, try to get out of it and go into the space you really enjoy. Be enthusiastic about things you do. V for vision. Have big ideas. Think big. If you aim for the moon and you miss, you'll hit the stars, right? So aim big, and that's it. Have big goals. Don't be shy of failure. Failure is a part of life. The only way you cannot fail, you do nothing, you be nothing, and say nothing. So A for ask. Most people don't ask. They're shy of asking. Asking doesn't hurt you. The worst thing the other person can say is no. I'm not going to help you. I'm not going to do this. So always ask. Most people never ask, right? So that's what I would always recommend. I meet so many people. I had a lot of success, which I have, is because early on in my life, I asked people to ask for a lot of help, and they helped me a lot. So and then N is So basically threes. This is so it ends with Evan. But
And
yeah.
is
So this is the 3 tricks I can give you for success. There's another one is leverage. Learn how to leverage other people's time and money to work for you. I don't recommend leverage trading, so don't do leverage trading. Stay away from that. That's the easy way to lose your money. Everybody who tells you that is getting paid to tell you that. Stay away from leverage trading, but leverage other people's time and money. I can do what I can do because I have hundreds of employees working full time for me. I have invested in hundreds of companies where I have upside. So I make money in my sleep. I am leveraging those people and those assets to work for me. So learn to leverage and you will always have a great time. Yeah.
That was a piece of advice, and I think with that we will leave it.
Thank you guys.
I could go on hours and hours talking
Me
to
too,
you.
it's great to have this conversation. If anybody is interested, they can follow me on Instagram at Evan Luthra. If you want to reach out, always Evan at evanluthra.com. I'm always available, always looking for new entrepreneurs to support and invest in. But thank you for your time, guys. Hope you got some value.
Yes, thank you very much for your time, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, man. Pleasure. Yeah.
See you soon.
Take care, guys.
Ciao. Okay, perfect. So.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay.